Have you ever been in a situation where you're explaining something to somebody, and we're talking about something simple, something that's not even rocket science, it's basically just some common sense stuff, and you're explaining it to them, and you know that you're doing it very clearly, and then you ask them, do you understand? And they look at you, and they smile, and they say, yes, I understand. And you're feeling really good and you're feeling confident, and then they go and do something completely different. This is a common case of your okay is not my okay. So welcome to another episode of Where's Your Brain? I'm Arthur Carmazzi, best-selling author and currently ranked as one of the world's top 10 thought leaders in organizational culture and leadership. And today we are going to be talking about, is your okay the same as my okay? Perhaps you found yourself in a situation like this. You thought I said okay to what? I distinctly remember that I explained it and you said okay. I would never say okay to something like that. But I did it and I did and you said okay. I would never have said something okay to something like that. Well, you know, if you just don't analyze everything and you don't just kind of like pick everything apart, maybe you'd remember the things that I say. I would definitely remember if you said something like that. I said something like that and you said okay. Well, I'm not like you to just do it. Well, at least I do it, okay? You are so worried about all the little things that nothing ever gets done. What do you mean? I do things? Well, and the show goes on. So, why does this happen? It happens not because people are necessarily totally incompatible, not because people don't understand how to communicate with each other. What you've probably been experiencing is the brain's genetic ambiguity relief processes. Now I'll be telling you what these processes are later on in the video, but let's figure out, well, what exactly is ambiguity relief? See, in order for you to take action, generally, you have to have clarity involved in some way. And the brain needs to interpret information from everywhere in order to get that clarity. Once you have some kind of clarity, then it helps you to create a more effective direction to basically achieve your goals. So, what is ambiguity relief? Well, understanding ambiguity relief definitely gives you more brain power. Now, let me explain what brain power means. It's basically the ability to achieve. Because once you understand your own ambiguity relief process, once you understand how your brain is actually doing stuff, and in some cases, sometimes we think, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me because, maybe, I'm just like over here, or maybe I'm just too detailed, or maybe, I just kind of like need to find structure and stuff, and there must be something wrong with me. And so you're creating all of these different barriers that are actually getting in your way of achieving stuff. So by understanding your ambiguity relief process, you get more brain power to actually do things in the way that your brain is naturally built to do them, and that gives you a greater potential to succeed in the things that you want to succeed in. So, let's see what else understanding your ambiguity relief process does. First of all, it improves synergy. When you are able to manage your expectations of other people by not expecting them to essentially look at things through the same colored glasses as you are, to not expect that their okay is the same as your okay, well, you are able to achieve more as a team. Now, what else does it do? Of course, it helps you to reduce blame. When you understand how a person gets clarity and how you get clarity, it's like, oh my gosh, they're just being like that. Okay, that's their okay, and this is my okay, so now we don't blame them. Now we find ways to work together in order to achieve the same objective. What else does it do? It also reduces conflict. If we understand our ambiguity relief process, our internal genetic processor Okay, we reduce conflict. Why? Well, because if I understand what your process is and you understand what my process is, we're not going to focus on the process, we're going to focus on the objective. And we may have a few different ways or processes to achieve that objective, but at the end of the day, we get stuff done. Okay, what else does it do? More trust. You know how when people are talking to you and you've got these great ideas and they say, no, let's just do it my way is better, or, I've proven my way and everything else. And no, they don't even give you a chance because they don't understand your process. You know why? Because most of the time they have been using their process to succeed and do stuff. And because their process works, they just assume that your okay is the same as their okay. Now, the other thing, of course, we get with understanding the ambiguity relief process is more influence. If you know a person's how, you know a person's way of interpreting information, it is easier to get emotional responses that basically trigger buying decisions. Why? Because you're speaking their language. And instead of trying to kind of speak to people in your language, because that's right and that's very clear to you and it's common sense, okay, find ways to speak to people in their language and you can actually get more influence. Now, of course, you also get the bigger thing, less stress. See, Buddha once said, life is suffering, but once you accept it, you transcend it. What that basically means in today's language, shit happens, live with it. Which basically means once you know that it's a genetic process and you can't change it, well, it's like, you basically live with it. You can say, hey, okay, can't change it. So how do we deal with it? How do we move forward, get stuff done? Okay, so let's look at the different processes. The first process is going to be the chaotic process. Now, in the colored brain model, we call this a green brain. So the chaotic ambiguity relief process requires action in order to get clarity. So these are the people that are basically like, they have a little bit of information and they just move, because once that information starts the idea, they need to take action in order to get clarity. Well, if you're green brain, of course that's the right way to do it because you get stuff done, right? But what if you're red brain, which is linear processing? Now, linear process, they need structure to get clarity, okay? And once they get clarity, then it's okay to take action, depending on, of course, if the clarity is in line with what they want to achieve, okay? But once they have that clarity, okay, it's okay. Now, the green brain, by this time, they're already moving. So now you've got like some conflict going on, or some other people, some arguments, whatever. So if a red brain has structure, it's easier for them. If they don't have structure, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta make some kind of structure here. What are you talking about? Okay, well, if the green brain's got too much structure, okay, it's like, oh, I'm so confined. All right, and then of course we have the purple brain. Now, the purple brain, okay, this is called relational processing. Why? Because everything is related. It is all connected through data and information. And the more information you have, the clearer the options become. And they're not analyzing the information, everything, they're just getting the information. The information, because it's all connected, suddenly it's like, oh, I see the options. I see option 1, I see option 2, I see option 3. And so now they can choose the best option because they got all the data and the information. Okay, now of course, this takes a little bit longer. Okay, so the green brains are like, hey, let's do it already. And the red brains are like, hey, where's the structure? You're just giving me information. It's too much information. Okay, and then of course now we've got the blue brains. Now the blue brains, okay, this is what is called intuitive processing, because it is about reflection. It is about connecting with your subconscious, kind of like an emotional feeling kind of thing, right? So it's intuitive. Now, intuition does not mean that the universe is speaking to me. What it does mean is that you have a closer connection to your subconscious. And so therefore, in order to kind of get clarity, you reflect, you kind of look and see and feel what's going on inside you. And then all of that basically is like, I get it. And because, of course, the blue brains, in order for them to take action, they're, kind of like doing all this stuff at the same time and getting clarity through reflection. And so sometimes, they need a little bit of time to just kind of feel it or think about it. Okay? And so these are the different colored brains, okay, according to the colored brain model. Now, if you want to find out more about colored brain and ambiguity relief, okay, go to coloredbrain.com, and you can also take the test there to find out your own ambiguity relief process. Until then, next time, this is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success.